It was 6 in the morning in the summer of 2009 when we arrived and our ship docked at the port of Juneau in Alaska. A couple or so other ships were visiting Juneau on this day, but we got there first. The others had to drop anchor offshore and disembark their passengers on tender boats. Within minutes of disembarkation, cruise passengers started their touring or shopping activities. By my estimate, there would be over 10,000 visitors exploring this capital city of Alaska throughout this day. And as for me, I boarded a van with a group of people heading for the local ski area, the staging point to start our biking tour.
The statistic about that mine though is there's about 150 miles of tunnel.
With no time wasted, we were soon learning about Juneau from our tour guides. Our main guide's name was Tyler, and he had two assistants with him, Karen, who was driving, and another one sitting in the back with us.
So I'd like to start the tour with
It would be something different for me to sightsee the natural wonders of Juneau while riding on a bicycle. Mounted in front of the van were a couple of bicycles we'd soon be riding on the first leg of our tour. The rest of the bicycles were securely mounted on the flatbed trailer being pulled behind us. I sat quietly and listened with Tyler talk about the surrounding areas, some historical information, and the founding of Juneau. Juneau was founded as a gold mining camp in 1880, and the city was later named after the gold prospector Joe Juneau. Along the way, everything as far as I could see around us were green mountains and pine trees. And ahead of us, the mountains were still covered with scattered snow. After a while, our driver broke her silence as we passed several bikers going in the other direction.
We'll lay them down. When we get you with a bike, just take it out for a spin, check the shifters, check the brakes, and then we're going to do a safety talk before we take off down the hill.
Tyler gave us assurances how fun and easy things would be on the activities we were about to embark on. There was nothing to worry about because we would have good brakes on the bicycles.
The very highest one, and then about 15 minutes hike from there, you can access that ridge that goes out to the right of the morning if you like skiing it all around here.
Soon, we slowed down and pulled over to a small parking lot at the local Eagle Crest ski area on Douglas Island.
Okay, I'll lead everybody to the restrooms if you want to follow me, and we'll do that first. And then those who don't need to go can get their helmets and bikes.
This was where our mountain bicycles were unloaded to be set up.
You guys can leave anything you like in the van. The van will be coming along on the whole trip. We'll be stopping at all of the scenic points, so you can even leave your camera in there.
Oh, really?
We got in line to receive our helmets.
We'd like it to be not tight that it's pinching you below your chin, but not hanging real loose either.
While some needed assistance to properly fit their helmets, the others started practicing riding their assigned bicycles. A few adjustments were made on seating heights. Checking on the brakes, mine really made loud noises, but otherwise, they seemed to be working well.
I'll give you a chance to ride around and get used to the gears. But the important thing is to remember, you have to pedal for it to shift.
Our last-minute instructions were about changing gears while we were on the road riding, and additional safety instructions were emphasized for when we rolled down the bike lanes along the highway.
Always use your right brake, your rear one first, going down the hills. And don't tailgate, keep some distance, single file to the right of the white line. We have radios. If you slip a chain or your brakes aren't working to your satisfaction, we can switch off bikes and...
This was a good day for biking. We started our 1,200 feet descent through the Tongass National Forest for the 9.5-mile bicycle tour over the paved Eagle Crest Road from the subalpine heights to sea level. The weather was perfect and no noticeable road traffic on the highway. It was just us mainly, breathing in some fresh air, enjoying the view, and getting some exercise while cruising along the first 5 miles that includes both downhill and uphill roads through the rainforest.
Alright, well
Our
everybody's
first
here.
stop was at the bog.
Welcome to the bog, you guys. That's what folks around here might call a muskeg. Basically, we're standing on top of a large Brita filter that's kind of tucked into the mountain. These bogs collect the snow melt that comes down off of the mountains, and it accumulates here along with rainfall. I mean, we get 90 to 150 inches of rain a year. Depends on the year, but regardless, all the water kind of accumulates here, and then the nutrients make their way through, the toxins get left behind, and we wind up with nice clean water a little further down. But that makes for a little sadder plants, I guess. Well, who wants to guess how old those trees are out
Up to
there?
300-year-old trees thrives on this wet, spongy ground with soil composed mainly of decayed matter and thus support a wide variety of plants. We continued our tour, keeping ourselves safely on the side of the road as we went downhill with our van of bicycle support following right behind us. In a little while, we stopped across the street to learn about the unique flora and fauna of the rainforest.
It's prolific around here. It actually just kind of pops up in these huge patches. You have to kind of look at the forest around here as a competition for light. Everybody's like trying to shade each other out and stuff. I mean, because we don't usually have sunlight.
This is where we were shown some plants and a few edible berry plants growing next to a creek.
As far as better food goes, we have, around here we don't have blueberries, but we've got blue huckleberries. They're basically like blueberries, but they taste better. They've got a red flesh instead of a white flesh, and so, I mean, they look exactly like blueberries, even the bushes do, but they aren't the same kind, so I like to just, you know, clear that up right here. And there's actually no blueberries in Alaska, just blue huckleberries. So, in case you needed some trivia questions for your friends when you get home, there you go, there's no blueberries in Alaska.
We listened as Tyler made a comparison on the leaves of a couple of trees, the hemlock and the spruce needles.
My left hand has the hemlock, and you can see that their needles, they're a little shorter, a little broader, and they come out at one plane, they come out horizontally, whereas the spruce needles, they actually go just about all the way around. They're more like your standard Christmas tree. They got points on the ends, they're spiky. You can see the new growth looks a little different on each of them as well. Spruce tips actually start out looking kind of like a little acorn sort of thing on the end of it, and you can pick them in the spring when they're fresh, and you can use them in jams and jellies and stuff like that, and they actually throw them in our winter ale kind of beer. They're real rich in vitamin C, so healthy beer. That's what I got for trees. If anybody sees anything around here that they want identified, we can probably do it between the three of us.
Moving on, we maintained some space between us going downhill while the cold wind was blowing to my face. It felt refreshing to be surrounded by the tall pine trees in the rainforest. Our next stop was at a stream of, I assume, melted mountain snow where we briefly took the opportunity to take pictures and rest a bit before continuing on traveling on a fairly flat road. It was a clear day, and the view across the Fritz Cove overlooking the Mendenhall Glacier and the surrounding snow-covered mountains was breathtaking. This area seemed like a very popular spot for photo ops. It was time again for a camera break. Everybody wanted to take their pictures with the glacier in the background, myself included. It was really beautiful, but I wish we were closer. Down below, along the shore, a group of people were getting ready for their kayaking adventure. We enjoyed the nature's beauty as we rode along the rugged coastline to Falls Outer Point. This was where we ended our mountain bike tour and waited for the last ones in our group. Helmets were collected and the bikes were mounted back on the flatbed trailer. It was our time for the water break and light snacks while enjoying the panoramic view across the bay. Back on the van and on the road again, we headed back on a short transfer to town for the second part of our Juneau adventure.
And once again, if you're wearing a backpack for everyone's comfort, it's good to see you remove it.
On this part of our tour, we boarded the Mount Roberts tramway that took us for an 1,800-foot ascent to the Mountain House Sky Bridge.
This is by Goldfield, it's a local native corporation. It has been in operation since August.
The tramway car was crowded and a little tough to take pictures around.
We are now rising 1,800 vertical feet above sea level to our mountain station.
With us was a tramway staff narrating and describing the overlook views as we climb up the mountain.
Behind us is Mount Champo. You look down here to the right on the side of the mountain, here is the AJ mine. It's a mine processing mill.
Looking down, the view was amazing and beautiful.
We are now approaching the mountain house. Inside the main building on the upper level is the Raven Eagle gift shop. It features everything from native artwork, Northwest Arts.
Near the top and before we got off, the narrator provided us some information of what available activities we might expect to see around and explore the area when we get there.
Also, as you exit the building is the Juneau Raptor Center. They do have a live bald eagle. Her name's Lady Baltimore. They ask if you care to view her to please keep the noise level down and your flashes off. Be all over the west.
It was at the mountain house when we said goodbye to Tyler, and then we were free to walk around and make our way back down to town, and later for a short walk to the pier on our own. At the mountain house Sky Bridge, I briefly walked among the tall trees of Juneau at the Alpine hiking trail and took a few pictures. There were also a few shops to browse for souvenirs, and at a certain time schedule, we were allowed to see Lady Baltimore, the bald eagle which was being cared for and can no longer be released to the wild because she lost one of her eye.
5 feet in the air. So she can't be released to the wild. She wouldn't survive on her own. Her wingspan is 6.5 feet and she weighs 11 pounds. She's an average size for a female. They can get a little larger. The males, though, are smaller, but males and females look the same. Her age could be anywhere from 8 to 33 now. Once they're adults, we can't determine their age.
In the end, what comes up must come down. When it was time to go, I boarded the tram for the return and continued appreciating the view as we descended back down. Inside the tram, I could see some of us looking forward to being back in town and on the ground, to check the shops and stores for bargains and nice souvenirs.
And once again, thank you for visiting our Rabbit Tramway. Have a nice time in Juneau.
Thank you.
On the ground, the streets were busy with people and visitors trying to decide which way to go and which stores to visit first. Cars, buses, and downtown trolleys went by as people walked around. Some wanted their pictures in front of the stores, and others gave a smile when they see me taking pictures of myself. Along the sidewalk, I encountered a trio of enterprising boys showing off their violin skills and to impress passers-by. Donation box laid down in front of them. Embarkation to the ship was at our convenience when we were ready because our ship was docked right near all the shopping stores. At past 4 in the afternoon, our visit to Juneau, Alaska had ended, and our ship maneuvered its way among the other ships that made this port of call on this day. Soon, we began moving ahead as we made our way to our next port of call, Ketchikan.